Hi, and welcome to Habits for Humans, the podcast that explores what makes people tick and how to program this brain of ours to do what we want it to do. I'm your host, Kim Flynn, and today we're going to talk to Temy Taylor. Fascinating topic today. Let me just give you a quick overview of what we're going to talk about. Our pancreas is designed to function in two ways: to burn sugar and to burn fat. And Temy says that most humans have only burned sugars throughout their lives, taxing the pancreas immensely. So we're going to talk with Temy about how this works and how to work with your body to get it to go into the two functions. So super excited to talk to her. We do have a giveaway for our listeners at the end. So if you like free stuff, stay tuned till the very end. First, before we get started, a word from our sponsor. Habits for Humans is brought to you by Card Salad, a health and wellness company that teaches you how to program your brain using systems and habits. Their flagship product is called Eat Well. It is a done-for-you meal planning service. So if you hate having to go through the process every week of figuring out what's for dinner, this product will solve that for you forever. So it's a menu board that you hang on your fridge, recipe cards, and shopping lists that are done for you, and you never have to worry about meal planning again. So I'm excited to introduce Temy to you. So Temy is a science educator who is passionate about health. She was a guest researcher at Stanford University in 2019 and was invited to continue her research in 2020, but because of COVID, the campus closed its doors to all visitors. Because she likes to research everything, she started to research how to help her body heal from various issues that she was experiencing. She found the information and misinformation available was confusing and overwhelming until she found Wildfit, which is the program that we're going to talk about today. So let's dive in, Temy. Before we get into that, we always start with your number one habit to manage your own mental wellness. So what is a practice that you do to manage the stress of daily life?
Hi, Kim. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I am so excited, and I'm excited to be able to share with as many people as possible about these easy, simple steps. So the one thing that I do every day without fail is breathing. It's super easy. I do what's called the 5-5-5 breathing. We do 5 breaths in, hold for 5, and then release for 5 breaths, 5 seconds, and then you do it 5 times. That's
Will
it.
you do that with us once so we can get a sense of what to do? So walk all the listeners through what to do.
Okay, sure. Excellent. I will start and I'll try and count with my fingers. What happens is I get confused which on the counting, but we'll start. So breathe in.
So if it's audio, give us verbal cues if you wouldn't
Oh,
mind.
okay. That makes sense. Okay, breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we do that 5 times total. My suggestion is do it first thing you wake up. Do it right before you go to sleep. 2 times is great. 3 times is excellent. So try to break it in. I do it while I drive, because sometimes driving can be stressful, but also you have all that time. So why not?
I love it.
What's amazing about breathing is that we tell our body, hey, we're safe. That's what we're communicating with our body. It's okay. We're safe. Let's lower the stress hormones, the cortisol. We don't need that right now. Let's not, stress out during our drive. Let's not stress out about the bill that's due tomorrow. So every time we do our breathing, we actually create more, we actually lower the cortisol level, which tells our body that it's okay. We're safe. And that is actually the beginning process of weight loss if people are trying to lose weight. And then another thing I want to say is that I'm going to switch. I say weight loss because everyone is used to that term. However, we don't want to find our weight again if we want to lose it. So, for example, if you lose your wallet or your keys, you want to find it, but we want to release the fat. And so it's really releasing weight or weight release, because we don't ever want to find it again. Most of us don't want to see that. So that's a term that I would like everyone to start using.
Well, we'll start using it here today for sure. So that's a profound statement. The beginning process of weight release begins with cortisol. Talk to us more about that.
Okay, so cortisol is a stress hormone, and it's meant to heighten our senses. And so imagine if you were in the wild and you see a lion. The first thing that's going to happen is your adrenaline starts pumping, your cortisol starts increasing, so that you can start paying attention to your environment. And what happens is that in this modern day and age, we are constantly producing cortisol levels. Just by thinking alone, just by watching a show, we're producing cortisol levels. And so our body's not meant to constantly have this stress hormone inside of us. It's meant for us to find the danger, get out of the danger, and then that cortisol level should be lowered. And so if your body's constantly being stressed out, you have more of one hormone than the rest, and your body's constantly fighting, trying to come back to homeostasis, come back to balance. And it can't do it because at night, maybe we watch the news, or we watched a scary movie, or an action-packed movie, and that raises our cortisol. Or we're thinking about, the fight that we had with somebody, or the job that we're stressed out about, or the schedule that we have, and so all of that creates this chronic issue of increasing cortisol level, and the body eventually is going to shift because it has to figure out what to do with all of that. And the one way, when we have a lot of cortisol in our bodies, we're signaling to the body that we're unsafe. We're in a place that is not safe, and that tells the body we have to hold on to fat. We have to make fat. We don't know when the danger is going to go away, so we have to. This is our insurance policy. We have to have enough fat so that we can figure out if we have to, run or fight, whatever it is that we have, where that's in danger. However, in our modern society, we're so used to having this stress all the time that we don't know what it feels like to not be relaxed.
I so resonate with that. When I go on vacation, it usually takes me about 3 days to calm down. And my husband calls it vacation mode. And so if you go on a 4-day vacation, I only get 1 day of relaxation, right? So I need like a 10-day vacation to actually feel what it feels like to relax. Have you found a way to find that in just everyday life? It just feels like we're bombarded with so many things that are intentionally meant to get a rise out of us, to get a reaction from us. The advertisers and social media in general, everything is designed to spike us, to hit that fear and to have a reaction from us. What's your secret for getting away from that when you're not in Mexico on the beach?
So awareness is the first thing. Besides the breathing that I do every day, that is already immensely powerful. And again, very simple. And people, for some reason, love to do challenging things because they feel like if I do hard things, then it's worth it. But the breathing will communicate with your body. Let's slow down. And then I also, at night, I play some kind of guided meditation that's more like on the hypnosis side, where it takes you to you're training your brain while you're sleeping, so that when certain things trigger you, you're able to handle it better. For example, yesterday I was pulled over because I was speeding, and normally I would get really nervous about being pulled over, but for whatever reason, I looked at it differently, and you don't notice these things until you've been practicing for a long time. I was hoping to get out of the ticket, and I should have stated that, but I didn't. So next time I'm going to ask him. But he let me get away with the ticket and a fix-it ticket. And what was amazing was that because of my reaction, I was actually, there was a lot of gratitude that he stopped me because I was like going extremely fast. But he also noticed that I hadn't paid my registration. I completely forgot that I hadn't paid my registration. And so that is, looking at things from a perspective of gratitude rather than a perspective of something is happening to me or this is bad. So if you look at opportunities that come, and especially when you have hard moments, those are great opportunities for growth. So your mindset, your perspective makes a huge difference.
So just to recap, to get our cortisol down, I promise we will get to pancreas, but this is good stuff here. But to get our cortisol down, awareness is the first step. And I love that you said it doesn't require a challenge, like this big, hard task to do. Sometimes we think as humans, the only things that are going to really work if the problem is significant is this big, hard, I need to do, hard 52 or whatever that program is right now in order to get real results. When you're saying no, how you drop cortisol in your everyday life is very simple, very easy. It's awareness. Oh, I'm panicked right now. And also it's gratitude. Oh, what can I see that's good about this situation? Oh, thank you, ad, for popping up again. I'm going to take a breath. That was me last night. I was playing a new game on my phone and this ad keeps popping up and I'm like, ah. Instead of that, I'm like, every time an ad comes on, I can just breathe into it and have gratitude for that. That's my chance to disconnect for a little bit. I love that. Okay, let's dive into Temy, pancreas. Talk to us about the functions and just take it away.
All right, so the pancreas is my new favorite organ.
What
Tiny
was
little
your
thing.
old favorite organ?
Probably the stomach because I
Oh,
love
that's
food.
awesome.
So, the pancreas, it has two functions. Its job is to burn carbs, which is sugar, it breaks down to sugar, and to burn fat. Now, in modern day society, we are so used to burning just sugar because we are raised that way. Did you know that 70% of Americans are obese?
That's a big number.
That is a big number. And did you know that about 200 years or so ago, we were eating, maybe the number's a little bit off here, but we were eating 4 pounds of sugar a year. It is now up to over 200 pounds of sugar a year. And so we start young eating sugar. We celebrate with sugar. We have birthday parties with sugar, and then our drinks now have sugar. And so throughout our lives, we're constantly eating things that have sugar, and the pancreas is constantly trying to balance it out because you can't have that much sugar in your bloodstream. But if you were to go back in time and follow the hunter-gatherer way of eating, they didn't have an option of like, let's go and get some ice cream. What they did was they ate with the seasons of the earth. They moved with the herd. They moved with the animals so that they can hunt. When winter came, there was hardly any food, so they were forced to fast in some situations. When spring came, there was lots of vegetation, but no fruit and no root vegetables, so they ate the plants that were there. And then when fall came, that was an abundance of fruits and vegetables and root vegetables. They ate more with carbs. And so the body developed in a way so that when there was no sugar, it was able to burn the fat that the body has. However, nowadays, we have to train people to get to those two modes now. They can't, many people cannot do it themselves, or if they actually do it, they do it accidentally and then cannot sustain it because they don't understand the psychology of what's happening to them or how how they're hacking their body so that they're creating a diet mentality rather than a lifestyle mentality.
So
And
the diet mentality would be intermittent fasting. Is that what we're talking about?
the diet mentality is doing something for a short term, just for physical change, but not working on the psychology of why you do certain things, not understanding that the biology, your biology is dictated by certain things. You are hardwired to want sugar.
Hmm.
So how do you live in this environment and uh, be okay with having all this sugar around you and actually not choose to have it? So
Well,
that's
well,
something.
tell us, how do we do this, Temy? Give me 3 steps to never craving sugar again.
So I'm going to tell you right now, it's a long process. It For me, the program takes 90 days to do, and what we do, the first thing is you have to be nutritionally satisfied. Most of us go on diets by restricting calories, but we're still starving. We're starving for nutrition. And most of us who are overeating, we are still starving for nutrition as well, because the things that we are eating does not work inside of our bodies. So the body's constantly saying, I'm hungry, please feed me. But the foods that we feed ourselves does not allow the body to extract the ingredients that it needs to function. So even if you're eating a lot and you realize that you still get hunger pains, a few things are happening. You probably might be dehydrated. That's the first thing. The second thing is you're not eating or you're not feeding your body enough fruits and vegetables to actually get those minerals and vitamins that fruits and vegetables have in order for your cells to work. So what we do is I work on the psychology of the person. Why do you love, Kim, tell me, what is your weakness? What is the one junk food that you wish you didn't
I wish
have
I
to?
didn't. I have been eating really, really clean for the past year and a half. So my body actually likes good foods, but pre a year and a half ago, potato chips. Potato chips are my weakness. I loved them.
Okay, so then what we do is we talk to you about what is the potato chip representing. So we get it deep down into
Hmm.
what it is that's causing you to desire potato chips. It could be an emotional attachment.
Mm-hmm.
It could be you just need some salt and you're eating it out of habit,
Mm-hmm.
because that's where you get your salt. Um, or it could be a habit, a routine that you have created. Some people say, I have to have a piece of chocolate right after dinner.
Mm-hmm.
That satisfies my palate. And so we bring to the client's consciousness, hey, you have a certain rule. One of the rule is that you have to have something sweet right after you eat.
Hmm.
And once that client is aware of that rule, then we start to dissect it. Does that rule serve you?
So I can actually answer that. What is it representing? What a powerful question. What is it representing? Potato chips for me were when I was in college, I would buy some potato chips out of the, vending, whatever. And then I would sit there between classes and it was kind of like a me time. And I would eat my chips and just love my me time. And then when I was a young mom, I used to get those jalapeno kettle chips in a little bowl every night. It was like a ritual. It was a self-love ritual of eating potato chips. And that's why I loved them.
Oh, that's excellent. So then we teach you how to rewire your brain so that you take care of yourself, your me time, but replace it with something that's actually nourishing
Mhm.
and not actually food related. How about a bath? How about some scented candles? How about a massage?
Yeah, I
Um,
can see how that question's really powerful. What is it representing? And that's the first time I put those together. So that was really interesting. Good question. So then after you figure out, okay, here are my food rules or here are my food habits that are not serving me. What's our next step?
so what we do then is we have these two things that we do. I'm not sure how much of this I should reveal, but we teach you how to first become aware, so that the awareness is there, and then we teach you how to have that conversation within yourself. You're already having that conversation. Should I eat it? No, I already ate a bowl. What, so bring that to the forefront and have that conversation with yourself, where you're there. You have one side that says, well, I should because I deserve it. And the other side says, well, you shouldn't be eating this because it's bad for you. And so bring that to the forefront, and then you look at it objectively, look at the arguments objectively. So we teach you how to do that, and then you, as the third person watching these two fight it out, you decide. So
interesting.
Ultimately, we teach you the principles so that you have ultimate food freedom, so that when you walk into a room with donuts and bagels, and you can actually not, you see it, you acknowledge it, and you're like, well, I used to love donuts, but I don't like donuts today. So you have the ultimate food freedom. You can choose to have the donut with mindfulness, or you can choose not to have the donut, and either way works. Either way is good for you.
Love this step one, awareness. Step two, the conversation with yourself. How does this play into the pancreas? I'm still waiting to hear, okay, this is how to turn on the pancreas and have it, choose fat instead of sugar, or whatever it is that we're trying to do here.
Excellent. So we pump up your nutrition. There are 6 human hungers, and the first one we satisfy is thirst. So we teach you got to drink more water, but it's not just here, do these steps. It's working with a group of people, where whoever is in the group, we work together and we support one another. But we build habits incrementally from day to day. And so we build on top of what we learned in week 1. We build on top of what we learned in week 2. And then slowly, we're going to ask you to take a break from sugar. What that means is different for different people. But during that time, we're asking you to be aware of your reaction. Are you having a tantrum inside of you because you can't have that sugar? Are you so relieved that you're not supposed to have this sugar? And so are you fighting with yourself and trying to argue with yourself? Well, I had a really bad day. Maybe I should have some sugar. Maybe I had a really good day. Maybe I have some sugar. So all of these things come to the forefront. And then slowly, once we beef up your nutrition, we will slowly teach you to now start eating, beefing up more plants and more meat products. And then if people are vegan, then they go that route. But we teach them that as well. And eventually, we slowly transition them out of sugar burning mode, and we support them through that.
How is this different than going on a keto diet?
That's a very good question. So keto is highly unsustainable. A keto is also not healthy in many ways. Many people think that if you eat a lot of fat, for example, cheese, sausages, bacon, as long as they eat a lot of fat, they'll be able to be in ketosis. However, there's a few things that they're missing. Number one, if you eat that way, you're going to have a heart attack. It's not sustainable. And also, you're eating the wrong fats. There are such thing as good fats and healthy fats and bad fats. So keto or ketosis is the body's natural way of burning fat. However, it is not meant to be done permanently or long term. And so, again, we walk our clients through the whole process, and then we teach them how to maintain that and how to keep that as a lifestyle, because we've rewired their brains to actually want the good stuff. And what I mean by the good stuff is that, for example, broccoli. I do not like broccoli, or I did not like broccoli. That was the one vegetable I'm just like, I don't get it. Why do people like this stuff? But through the program, I've rewired myself so much that you have this giant nerve from your gut to your brain. And I have recalibrated that nerve so much that now broccoli tastes sweet. Mm-hmm. So if you actually get yourself to the way that you were eating naturally, you actually will realize that fruits and vegetables in general have their own nuances of sweetness and of taste. And so we guide people through by supporting them. We guide people through by teaching them what's happening through the process, and by slowly getting them to that process so that they can start ketosis, but safely and actually sustainably.
I really appreciate that everything you're saying is you don't do it unless it is sustainable for a lifetime. You don't go on a diet. You go slowly. You introduce one habit after the next, after the next. The slow cut is the shortcut, right? The slow cut is the shortcut. Will you talk really quickly? We're running out of time here, but talk to us about Wildfit. And I think there's a global challenge that you were talking about. Will you talk to us about that?
So Wildfit is the program that I teach I walk people through. It is 90 days. We have 2 global challenges a year. In January right now, I'm running the one challenge right now. And then in the summer, we'll have another one. And the global challenge, all it is that it's everybody and all of the coaches come together, and we do live Zooms together every week. Videos are released every day for clients to listen to and to understand why we're doing what we're doing, and to build layers of habits that will help them along the process.
Well, I love the layers of habits. You had me at the word habit. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. As we wrap things up, a reminder that the goal of this podcast is to program your brain to start instilling systems and habits into your life. It's not about what you know, it's about what you do, starting one very small step at a time. We've got giveaways here today from our sponsor, Card Salad. Go to habitsforhumans.com and sign up for a free 7-day Eat Real Foods challenge. It's 7 days of recipes done for you, shopping lists. It's your meal planning completely done for you for a week, with an eye on getting those fruits and veggies in that Temy talked about. Also want to encourage you to visit Wildfit. Go to TemyTaylor.com, and her links will be in the show notes in the whatever platform you're listening to or watching. It'll be in the show notes. So find her at TemyTaylor.com. It's TEMY Taylor.com. Thanks for joining us, Temy, and thanks to our listeners. This is Habits for Humans, the podcast that teaches you how to program your brain to maximize your potential. Thank you in advance also for giving us a positive review. Thanks, everyone.